views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
On this edition of Perspectives, as we adjust to what's called the new normal, we're trying to get wise technology. What's the right device to get? The question is, do I get a Surface? Do I get an iPad? Do I get a Mac, or do I get a Dell? What do I do? And so we got a very special guest in the studio coming to us today that's going to be able to share with us virtually what we need to know. Sherri L. Smith will be joining us as we talk technology, what's hot, what's not, and what you need to know right here on Perspectives.
What's on your mind? Express what's on your mind. What's on your mind?
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference in someone's life. Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective? Let them know.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime, and of course, we thank you for joining us as Perspectives airs every week here on BronxNet's Channel 67. If you have Verizon Files, of course, that's Channel 33, or catch us anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. We also want to encourage you to stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Of course, I've got a personal Facebook page, professional, I should say, Daren C. Jaime. You can check that out for information and inspiration. And most of all, you never know, that information that you share just might make it here on the show. But coming up on today's show, we've got a very special guest and a very special show for you. You know, we're really trying to all navigate this COVID-19. And as it continues, we got to continue to make adjustments. And some of those adjustments are technological adjustments. And for some of us, it's not as easy as we like to figure. You know, we got to make a choice. Some of us are trying to find out what laptop to get, what kind of electronic device to get, what's the best thing to do. So, you know, in order to find out the best, we brought the best to you. So we've got a very special guest who's sharing with us here today, Sherri L. Smith. She is an avid gamer. We'll say that right off the rip. She loves audiophiles. She's a lover of extra large phones. But most of all, she's been recently named the editor-in-chief of Laptop Magazine, and she's the first African-American woman to be named executive in charge of a major tech publication. She joins us. She's been seen on CNN. She's been seen on other major platforms, giving her perspective. And we're glad that she could be here with us right now, sharing. And so, Sherri, good to have you.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And listen, I guess the time is real good. I mean, all of us are really, you know, navigating virtually. And here we are navigating virtually. But honestly, for you, I'm sure this is something that you saw more, you know, more interaction virtually, but not in the form of a pandemic. So talk to us about how much technology has really ramped up across America and the world for such a time as this.
Before it, like everyone was complaining, oh my God, so much screen time. And now like all these screens are the things that are bringing us together, allowing us to check in on our family and our friends. And it's just making up a new community. So now maybe we can't go out, but that doesn't mean that I still can't see my mother. I see her every weekend. My family is, my brother and my niece and nephew are currently sheltering in place with her in Maryland. And so I call and check on them every week, and we have a family discussion. Like I talk to my friends, like today's Friday. So I am invited to at least 3 virtual happy hours a day. So after work is done, I'm going to have a nice little glass of scotch and just talk and commune with my friends and family.
But that's it though, right? Because we've taken what's going on and we've been able to like navigate that. You talk about a happy hour, like nobody ever thought about really a virtual happy hour until we got into the midst of a pandemic. But it goes to show you the growth of the emergence of technology, and not just the emergence of technology, but really how it can be used for almost anything.
Absolutely. I'm just really excited to see how quickly tech companies adapted, evolved, and made sure that they could get the tech out. So once Zoom started becoming the du jour video app of choice, then Google and Microsoft were like, well, hey, we have our own thing. What about us? Well, chopped liver. So Google Meets has stepped to the plate and like, okay, you want to do virtual happy hours, or you want to meet with your whole company? Okay, we're going to increase the capability to accommodate at least 250 people. Microsoft Teams has followed the same suit. So the more that we're relying on these this software and this technology, the quicker it's evolving, and it's really fascinating to watch.
Well, I know for a fact, and personal experience, when we had to convert, there was a couple of pieces of things I need to add to the house in order to be able to do some things virtually. But trying to reach out, I mean, initially there was this huge back order and backlog, and it still is right now, of necessary essentials. Who would ever thought that we would have this backlog of the necessary essentials? Some people will not. I mean, there's one piece of equipment I'm waiting on that probably won't come for like another 3 weeks.
Yeah, like webcams became like a hot commodity so quickly. Luckily, I had one laying in the house, but they quickly sold out because, like it's nice to talk to someone, but you kind of want to see them, especially in this where you can't go out and you can't, like, it's just not safe. So webcams are such a hot commodity right now. Like the back orders that I've seen, I'm like, oh man, some folks aren't going to be able to see anyone until September. We're going.
Right. It is a long time, but I think for people, even after the pandemic, after we get back to a sense of some normalcy, because I never will say we'll get back to normal, because I don't believe that things will be normal ever again. But after we get back to some sense of routine, I'll put it, there is still going to be a need for this technology. And talk to us, because you're front and center with a lot of CEOs, and a lot of CEOs and businesses. This is going to be a modality that a lot of businesses are going to go to, because they recognize, hey, I don't need office space. I don't have to spend as much time with as many people. We could see another great downsizing too.
It's happening already. Like if you just look at unemployment rates, they are increasing at an exponential rate. And you're right. A lot of companies that are allowing people to work from home, they are looking at the bigger picture. Like especially if you're a New York company, New York rent just for an apartment is expensive. So renting out office space is an arm, a leg, a soul, maybe a firstborn babe. So if companies can find ways to cut down on those costs, I think a lot of us are going to be moving over to the telecommuting way of life, for better or worse.
Yeah, a lot to really think about during a time such as this. Listen, I want to take a quick break right now, but what I do want to do is come back, and I want you to help some people out, because what if I'm working from home and I've got a small budget? What are some of the things I could do in order to make this thing happen? And what if I got a little bit more than a small budget? Maybe let's ramp it up a little bit, give some people some tips. So stay with us. Sherri is going to be with us when we come back, and then we'll continue with more perspectives.
Why should young people care about the spread of coronavirus? Well, we know that people with underlying medical conditions over the age of 60 are at highest risk, but they've got to get it from somebody.
So we're asking everyone to be selfless for others so that we can protect those who are most susceptible.
Not going to bars, not going to restaurants. It all just means physical separation so that you have a space between you and others.
For more information on how you can social distance, please go to coronavirus.gov.
Back here on Perspectives, Daren Jaime here with you. Our guest, Sherri L. Smith. And if you want to know about her, yes, she is recently named editor-in-chief of Laptop Magazine, the first African-American woman to be named as such in a major tech publication. And it's great to have her sharing with us. As we said, she's been on CNN, she's been on Fox Business News, various places, various platforms, giving people the much needed information with us here so we can tell the Bronx and New York City all about how to navigate during COVID-19. And so, Sherri, before the break, we were talking a little bit about just ramping the game up. And so for somebody that's at home trying to ramp their tech game up, what are some of the basic things they can have on a small budget?
Well, you need a laptop, you're going to need a webcam, and depending on how much video conferencing you're going to be doing, you might want to invest in a USB mic and a pair of good headphones. Just to start, like that's just a budget package. Like I have a Blue Yeti Yeti Nano mic. I have a Logitech 1080p Pro camera. I have a couple of lights to help light the scene better, but that's just for my line of work. I think most people can get away with just a laptop. If I don't know if you really need the webcam right now. Like it's a preference, especially if you're on a tight budget. And I go for making yourself as comfortable as possible. A nice office chair or somewhere that you don't want to sit 8 hours a day in an uncomfortable chair or that lumpy couch or wherever you're working from if you don't have to. Right.
And a lot of people are forced to sit behind their home office, and some people never had a home office, but they're reinventing the wheel. They're trying to get equipment. And so as we talk about equipment, we always ask these questions. So let's ask them straight up. When we talk about computers, laptops, should we do a Mac or should we do Dell, Mac, PC? Give me your take.
Well, it depends on your budget. I just finished reviewing the latest MacBook Pro 13-inch. We gave it a 4. It's not that it's an incremental change. It's not this big technological innovation. They did a lot of small things that Mac users will appreciate. They got rid of that horrible butterfly keyboard in favor of the Magic Keyboard. So now it's a lot more comfortable to type. It's got the same chassis. It's the MacBook Pro that we all know and love. It's still got the Retina display. But what's really cool is that they've given it double the RAM and double the storage. And they've also moved it up to a 10th gen processor, which should give you more battery life and better performance. But if you do the base model, you got to be careful. Got to watch out for this. The base model is using 8th gen processors, which 8, 10, it's 2 generations behind. They're still okay, but I mean, if you're going to have this computer, most people keep a computer for 5 years. I would want the most up-to-date thing that I could get at that time, personally. Right. In my professional life, I do use a Mac. In my private life, I use a PC because I'm a gamer. I do PC gaming. I do Xbox. I do PS4. I do Nintendo Switch. I do it all. For PC users, I am a fan of the Dell XPS 13, the HP Spectre 13, also the 15 inches. Like I like 13 inches because if we ever do get out of here, you can just pop it in your bag and go. They're lightweight and they're powerful. 15 inches, like they're a little bulkier, but you get that really beautiful display and they're bigger. And you who doesn't want to watch a movie on the biggest screen that you can get? And those two are premium brands, premium lines from those brands. If you need something a little bit cheaper, you might want to look into a Chromebook. Say the Asus Chromebook C436, or even the new Acer Swift 3 that just came out. It's $649. It's running on AMD's new processors, which apparently is just kicking butt all over the place. One of my rival publications just did a face-off between the MacBook and this $600 laptop, and the $600 laptop did a lot better. So I'm looking.
Wow.
I'm looking to test that out myself. I can't wait to see that. AMD is making a really big comeback in the industry, and you love to see it just because competition is good for the consumer. It's good for the industry.
Yeah, a lot to really consider. And I mean, for many people, it's a hard decision. You think about, hey, I'm gonna make this investment, and you just really don't want to go wrong. And as I said, you also talked about being a gamer, and I know that you're an avid gamer. So give us a little bit of a gaming insight. What games are hot during the pandemic season right
Oh
now?
my goodness. So I am playing so much Final Fantasy remake right now. It's better than it had any right to be. Like Final Fantasy VII was one of my favorite games coming up. It's the thing that like let me know that I was going to be about this JRPG life forever. And to see it redone, seeing them really digging into deeper details of the story is really been a treat to play. I just finished Control, which came out the end of last year. Like kind of a horror theme, but like you have psychic powers and you're exploring all this stuff. Really cool game. I'm excited for The Last of Us. The Last of Us 2, which will be launching in June, the follow-up to the critically acclaimed and very popular PS4 exclusive. Let's see, what else do we have? Persona 5 is out, another great JRPG. What else have I been? A lot of folks have been doing a lot of Smash Bros. And Animal Crossing. Like, I have not joined the Animal Crossing wave myself. I just don't. It's a beautiful game, and I see the appeal. It's a very relaxing game, and it's like it's for everyone. But I just don't get the appeal of the minute I jump into this game, I owe 1 million bells. Bells is the currency of the game to this fuzzy landlord, and I have to do all these tasks to pay off my house. Like, aren't I doing that in real life now? I want to do that in the game, but people love it. Like AOC is actually playing it now and just showing up on people's islands. And
really?
Yeah, so it is a phenomenal, like, because it's not competitive per se, but it's a very soothing game, and it like I see the appeal. I just can't. I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta pay rent in this? No.
I get you. Listen, let me take a quick break. Come back with more. Sherri L. Smith, our guest here on Perspectives, going over games, and coming up later, we're gonna find out just a little bit more about her. We'll be right back right after this.
Who's most at risk for coronavirus? People over 65, people with underlying medical conditions like heart disease, chronic lung disease, asthma, diabetes, people undergoing cancer treatment, and people with weakened immune systems. What should you do if you or a loved one is at higher risk? Avoid close contact with people. Avoid crowds. Stay home if you can. Wash your hands frequently. Learn more ways to protect yourself and others at coronavirus.gov.
Here on Perspectives, Daren Jaime here with you, and we are continuing our conversation. Sherri L. Smith is our guest here. She is, yes, the executive in charge for Laptop Magazine. And for those of you who don't know about Laptop Magazine, well, guess what? Sherri's going to tell us a little bit about that. Sherri, if somebody doesn't know about Laptop Magazine, please give us the 411.
So Laptop Mag it started out as a print publication. It's 29 years old. So next year it will be turning the dirty 30. Excited. And we've got big things planned for next year. So stay tuned. But we're a consumer electronics site. We cover primarily laptops, boom, boom, boom. But we also cover tablets and anything that you can plug into a laptop or a tablet. So, I personally focus on gaming with a focus on laptops, desktops when I write for my sister site, Tom's Guide. I also do virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, and audio with a focus on headphones, but I'll do a speaker every now and then. Just whatever suits my fancy. That's the cool thing about being the boss. You can just pull rank and like, oh, well, I want to review this or I want to play with this.
And so as we're getting ready to get towards the fall season, it's crazy. Summer's already, is right upon us. I know you got your eyes set on doing stuff for the fall. What are some of the things that we should be looking for, or maybe that you could dime us into, give us an exclusive to be looking out for as we progress towards the fall?
Well, we are in the midst of Mother's Day, so I'm getting a lot of pitches for kitchen tech. So things like the Anova Sous Vide, which is a really cool machine that lets you give your food a water bath and slowly cook it so it's more tender than maybe doing it in a cast iron pan or broiling it or doing a slow cooker. A lot of slow cook, like Instant Pots out the wazoo. I personally am looking for a grill and a smoker because if I'm going to be in here this summer, I'm going to be learning how to make a brisket. That's just
all right.
For as far as laptops, we've got a bunch on the horizon. As I said, I just reviewed the new MacBook Pro. There are others that I can't say just yet because they are still under embargo. So until then, like next time I come back, we can talk about those. But there are a lot of exciting laptops coming in the mainstream market for gamers. There's going to be something for everybody. So really stay tuned. Stay tuned to Laptop Mag. We're going to be at the front of all of it.
Yeah. And so you're going to definitely be back to share a little bit more with us about what's hot and what's not. Let me just talk about some common tech mistakes, right? Because people do make a lot of mistakes in this time, in this season. What are you seeing and what kind of advice would you give and some things to watch out for and don't do?
Folks, please, 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 please. Put two-factor authentication on everything. I mean everything. I have two-factor on my PlayStation. I have it on my Xbox. I have it on my Google. Like now that everybody's home and going stir crazy, the hackers are just having a field day, sending out all these scams, just preying on people like, oh, well, get this free corona test. Click here. Just give us your information. Now they're going through your bank accounts and all that. So really be like, put two-factor on everything. And basically what two-factor means is that when you set it up, not only do you sign in with your password, if it's from a new system, it's going to say, hey, I'm going to send this code to your phone or wherever you have it designated to send. It could be your phone. It could be a separate email, wherever. Punch in this code so we know that it's you. That way that you can keep your code, everything as secure as possible. I hate to read stories, especially now with all these company breaches. Like company security breaches have not gone down in this time. They're actually going up and people's personal data is getting out there. Something else, if you are working from home and you feel the need to watch something that maybe your mom wouldn't want you to watch.
Right.
I'm not saying don't watch it, but I am saying don't watch it on your work computer. Like the IT department can see everything, and I do mean everything. Incognito mode cannot hide you, and it says that there. Please, please, please don't watch it on your work computer. It will come back to bite you.
Wow. Yeah, we know a lot of people lost jobs and stuff like that. And Zoom we know Zoom had their controversy with hackers tapping in. What can you tell us about that? I know that they've tightened up the reins a little bit more. Talk about Zoom.
So, like starting from the bottom, now we hear is basically that story. Zoom, like, yes, a lot of corporate places use it. Like my job uses it sometimes. And like with the pandemic, it blew up and it wasn't ready. It was not ready for the amount of people that were using it, and it was not ready for malicious users. So basically, Zoom bombing became a thing where people were they were basically creating open Zoom rooms where anybody could join. And so you get some chucklehead coming in and being disruptive. And sometimes it would be a playful prank, but in quite a few high profile cases, particularly with Black athletes, and most recently a HBCU gathering, I think it was, people are going in and posting racist images or saying hate speech and disrupting these events. So it's impaired. Like, even though Zoom has tightened it down, because for a while New York was like, we're not messing with you, Zoom, because we the DOE was using Zoom to as a form of remote learning. You don't want your kid is there to learn, not to be inundated with hate speech or inappropriate language. So when that really started popping off, the DOE was like, no, Zoom, we're not going to do this. So Zoom has since made some major changes to its security protocol so that the Department of Education feels safe enough. They recently announced, I think they actually said today, that they're going to start working with Zoom again. But it was bad in the streets for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But hopefully we've learned a lot of lessons. I know Zoom learned some lessons. We've learned some lessons, and we continue to watch. Got a little bit less than a minute left. Give me some final thoughts before we leave.
We're all in this together, and we're all experiencing it differently. Things that I am working on, like I am lucky enough to have a duplex, so I have a little bit of a home gym. Try to get exercise. Try to do things to take your mind off of what we're going through right now. Reach out to family. Invest in a good webcam to talk to people. If you are working from home and you think you're going to be there permanently, invest in a good office chair. I'm looking into getting a standing desk. I'm actually building one downstairs. I'm working on a feature on how to build the ultimate work/gaming station. So stay tuned for that. And, we're going to get out of here someday. Like, I think it's going to be someday soon. And I think that we're going to be better, stronger, more compassionate for it.
Yeah. And we're going to ride it out together, and that's the main thing. We're going to make it. That's what we want to tell people. We're going to make it. Just requires a little bit more patience and a little bit more understanding and a little bit more peace. But no, Sherri, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us, enlightening our audience, giving us some much needed information. I want to let you know we're going to be bringing you back more often because we're going to need to navigate through this. So thank you so much. And thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having.
All righty, Sherri Smith, our guest here on Perspectives. Listen, want to let you know that about wraps it up for this edition. Now, for Curlew, Lindsay, myself, and the rest of the Perspectives crew, yes, we continue to come to you virtually, but I want you to know, guess what? We are here with you. For all of us, stay safe, share your perspective with somebody else. You don't know, it just might make a difference in somebody else's life. Daren Jaime saying, take care and God bless.